G'day everybody, welcome to part 5 of the Xray X1 build series. Part 5, we are continuing on with the rear motor pod assembly. Previous video, we actually attached the motor pod to the main chassis. Now, as I'm going to repeat myself again, there are multiple of the same thing. I'll do some of it off camera, or most of it off camera, then I'll go through the final part with you. So what I've done here is one of the links. I've gone ahead and assembled it and then attached it to the main chassis and motor pod. As you can see, that's even with one there, you get an idea of how the suspension system is to work. I've attached one of the posts here for the side springs and for the oil damper. You'll see what I mean when I go into the assembly. So now we'll continue on. What we'll do is we'll do this last link, or the second link. Get our ball pivot, stick it in. Note, just remember, make sure you get them both facing the same way. Now we need our 1.5mm driver, and we have a screw. Make sure it only goes in one way, so make sure it goes in the right way. And what I do is I'll screw it all the way in, and I'll keep moving the ball pivot till it goes tight. And then I'll just back it off so that the ball pivot moves freely. Okay, so now what we'll do is we'll attach it to the chassis, which is quite simple really. What we'll do is we'll put the screws underneath the chassis here so it just sits flat, and we'll tighten it properly after. Now make sure that the screws are facing out on the links, and we'll just, with the 3mm driver it requires. It's obviously going to fight me, isn't it? Okay. Okay, this one went nice and tight. Hopefully this one plays ball. Yes. Alright, so we didn't have to do it. Now when you're looking at it, you're thinking it looks wrong. Okay, it looks offset, and that's got to do with the way the motor setup is. So make sure that you take note of the orientation. Now it's got a bit of resistance there, so I'll fix that after off camera. So, but don't worry, it's normal for a link system to do that. Okay, so we won't worry about that at this point in time. Next part, we need to put in one of the other posts. So we need our flat screws, 2mm driver, and of course good old thread lock. Okay. Put the post on in the correct hole. And it's nice and tight. That's what she said. I'm sorry, that's a bad habit of mine. Alright, so now next part is to attach the side springs. So what you need is there is a set screw and a small bolt that's got a countersunk rim around it. That's what the spring sits on. There's a close-up of it, that's what it looks like. So the set screw goes in. I've already done it off camera. Now what we do is with our 1.5mm driver, So we stick it through this hole here, and then set it on, and then we just turn it till it's flush with the top of the carbon part here. And as always, note the orientation too of the carbon parts. So keep going until it's flush. There we go. Okay, now we put one of the side springs on. Simply just clicks in. You'll hear it click. Make sure it's on. It sits. There's like I said, it's countersunk in there. It just sits on there like that. Okay, now we will attach it to the main chassis on the post. So again, thread lock, 2mm driver. Okay, now we need it. This next one requires a ball stud and a washer, like that. Okay. Nip them tight. Alright. So that is it complete. As I said, I'll just go off camera and just make sure I've got everything set correctly. You do have to set it. Take your time when doing this. And so up to part 5. So part 6, we will do the body posts and finish off the last bit of the motor pod. So yeah, stay tuned everyone.